trying to figure out how to do this. This is my first time. I've done YouTube Live before, but I'm streaming it through Zoom, so bear with me here. We thought this would be like a lot of fun to do like a Q&A while we're chatting about our normal like our monthly energy updates, and we're in the energy of Pisces. So, yay, happy Pisces season to everybody out there. And we're gonna dive in. So, bear with us. This is my first time doing this. We're gonna try this monthly to do like our YouTube lives, and we will always upload it onto, Apple Podcast and Spotify, so you'll get that as well. But we are doing the damn thing. So, welcome back, Jake. Hello.
Right. Hello, Jenna. Thank you, thank you. And what a Pisces moment, right? Starting a new vision and bringing it to YouTube Live and trying something new, right? So it's stepping into the energy, and I'm sure it'll manifest the way it is. And then I love having a business partner that can do all that stuff, and I just have to show up. So God bless you and everything you do for us, and your spiritual sense. So I'm excited for what we have planned today and what we have looking forward into the future, and that'll kind of be what we're going to talk about, this Piscean energy that's in the air and what we can expect in this season, what we can lean into this season, and really how do we leverage astrology, and something Jen and I always talk about, astrology as a lifestyle, right? And that is part of why we do these seasons. So I'm super stoked for what we have planned today.
Yes. So, guys, if you are new to YouTube, you can, in the live, you can ask questions in the chat box. So, if you have questions, or like, we love just engaging with you all in the community. So, again, we're going to be doing this more often. This is kind of like a test run. So, let's see how it goes. And so, let's get into it. We're in the fire horse year. Okay. Happy fire horse year, everybody. And we're in Pisces season. So, what is the energy update? What's going on astrologically? Like, update us all, please.
Love it, love it. Oh, there is a lot. There's a lot, and I think today we always love, at least with holistic human performance, we start with everyone's kind of focusing in on the birth chart, right? When you were born and you came into this world, your soul design, right? We call it kind of the blueprint of the soul, is really the energy resources that you can see from your birth chart. So we always want to start there, always, right? So where is Pisces in your birth chart, right? And for those that are new to astrology or getting equipped with astrology at the moment, right, we talk about these seasons because right now above us, the sun is in this beautiful star alignment of the Pisces, right? And that energy now is vibrating down to us. So anybody born until, well, it already kind of entered slightly, but about the 18th to about March 20th, you are going to be a sun sign of Pisces, right? So anyone that knows their birthdays in the near future already had it, you are a Pisces sun, right? But for us, we also want to point out that this soul design has the ability to enforce our psychological urges, right? And that is where we really preference differently at holistic human performance of it's the psyche, right? And with the Astrotherapist theme that we like to bring to the table is around this is a true authentic vision of yourself when you're looking at your birth chart. So we also say you're more than your sun sign. So yes, if you are a sun Piscean person, this is powerful information for you to take, but for everybody, you can always find answers to where your energy is at by looking at your birth chart. So look for the Pisces sign, and then part of the education we want to provide is then you're going to look to rulerships. We're very planet focused. So a lot what we discussed today that is Piscean energy is going to relate to the two planetary rulers. One, the modern ruler, Neptune. I love Neptune. We'll definitely talk about Neptune today. I have some friends that are very Neptunian, but it's Neptunian and Piscean that comes in there. And then the secondary ruler is Jupiter, right? So Jupiter has similar elements to it, but it's really this Neptune Pisces energy that we'll focus on. So as we point that out, when we get into what to expect or what's the astrological, let's call it the weather report, right? What is going on energetically? Because yes, it starts with us. What is our soul vibrating at? Where's my Piscean energy? Where's my Neptune? Where's my Jupiter? That's Jenna and I, before we jumped on, we talked about what that looks like and then how that's played out in life because it's real, right? Especially with those that are in our community, manifestation is real. Spirituality, it's real. The universe is real. Law of attraction is real. And I always look at life as what did I attract? And then come to your chart and notice those synchronicities, notice those patterns, and it will heighten your consciousness to then your ability to figure out how do I want to manipulate this energy, right? How do I want to reframe it? How did it go when it felt not that great? How did it feel when the energy was harmonized and really vibrating? So that's what we do. And then I'll pause this ramble on, yes, the seasonalities. Right now, we have our energy and we're attracting things, but the seasons, what Jen and I love doing every month, is you're looking at the collective energy field. It's that powerful energy where the sun, yes, is literally triggering energy down to us, and it's a very powerful energy. The psychological urge for the sun is power, right? So we're thinking about Piscean power. And what they say with Pisces, simplest word, and anyone who's a Piscean person I get to meet with and do readings for, or any readings, it's great to talk to the soul and not the person because you can see, you can notice in their eyes when you say something that you're like, oh, how did you either know that or like, that is me. Above anything psychologically your conscious mind is telling you. It's like you start talking to someone's soul, goosebumps. And it's why I love what we do because we're talking to the soul. And I always kind of meet a Pisces person and I'm like, oh, the mystic, very spiritual, right? And the mystic always gets their eyes lit up because it is a very mysterious energy. It's very, very connected to spirituality. Now, depending on which house it's represented in, it can differ, but I think you'll notice, when someone's walking down the street, maybe their hair is a different color. Purple is a beautiful connection to the Neptune planet and the Pisces energy, but maybe their hair color is different, right? It's got this spiritual sense to it. They're wearing a lot of beads, their colors, their outfits are a little different, right? Because of this spiritual sense. So maybe start to notice this mystic energy around you, even if you're not a Piscean sun, but you have these other placements. But we're going to expect to see a lot of spiritual growth over these past few months. A lot of visions that you want to have come in place are going to manifest, right, that you've been working on. But there is this extra element of Pisces that is illusion and illustration, right? Taking the things and the visions from your mind and seeing them with vibrant energy and then allowing them to go outward and manifest in this season. This is where it's pure for you to really lean into that spiritual mystic energy of yourself.
I have a couple of Pisces friends. Like I can name five off the top of my head. And it's funny because like knowing what I know now about the zodiac sign of Pisces, of Piscean, it's very like so they're the 12th sign, right? And then Aries starts it. It's number 1. So Piscean person, their blueprint is one of very spiritual wisdom and very mystical. Like I immediately am like, you're so mystical. Now, I have some of those Pisces friends that are going through their spiritual awakening and like starting to incorporate those things. And then I have other friends that like just started that journey and, you know, are kind of like opening to this world of like, whoa. But all of them are extremely creative. They are extremely artistic. Like, all of them have like this artistic ability that obviously it's a little bit different than what I do. But in general, they can like paint, they can draw, they can sing, like they can play multiple instruments. I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. So immediately when I think of a Pisces, I'm like, I automatically think of like creativity and art and like spiritual wisdom.
Yeah, and how cool is that, right? That's the lifestyle that we talk about because that's true. That's really this connection with this Pisces energy, and I think it's kind of also right. They can see these visions that no one else can see, right? And that's where the artist comes in. It's like, oh, like how did you put that together,
Yeah.
And it's so beautiful. For this power, And now I will say, one thing Jenna has us doing, which is great for our community, is talking about harmony and discord, right? The harmony side is what you just said. there's a discord side. We don't really see good or bad, and that's the power, I think, of astrology. There is no good or bad. It's just energy, and energy has to go somewhere. It has to. It's just the reality. And then you have the chart to have a higher consciousness again. How do I want to use this energy? How it's there. So that creator, the artist, the singer, that mystical, it's beautiful. Now, sometimes the discord side is I've got a very close Neptunian friend. So bringing in the rulership, his strongest planet is Neptune. So there is, he's a different sun sign, but that's where again the planets are so important and the energy is there because he's so Neptunian and those similar traits of what you were noticing with Pisces. But sometimes I say,
Is that
where
like
did
too
that come from?
mystical, like too like in the clouds kind of
Yes. Where did that come from? Is something I've ever said, and it could be, and I will never deteriorate in a negative way. I'm just like, that is beautiful. You just painted me like a beautiful picture, but where the heck did that come from? And then the second one is like, how are you going to make that a reality? Because
Yeah.
you nailed it, right? You've ever noticed it? It's a little too far fetched.
Yes. And exactly what you just said, like those friends that I have where you're like, okay, like how are you going to bring this like down into like the physical reality? And like you just said, the discord that comes along with that Piscean energy, it's like how do we now ground it? Like how do we come more grounded from being like up here in the mystical skies? Like let's like bring it down.
Yes, yes. And what's coming up for me as you said that, right? It's kind of twofold, right? Where, I shared a story. Jenna did a beautiful healing, ritual for us, and I was able to see
Thank you
these
so
visions.
much. That
Hey,
was
you're
like I received that.
you're always welcome for authenticity because it was real, And my Pisces is a little bit limited, but Neptune is strong in my house, in my planetary alignment in my birth chart, but like after you meditate, you practice, as you know, the people we get to work with that are down for the cause, right? This stuff is real, so I needed it. Now, do I think that I'll manifest? I'm going to be ending up on a beach and I'll sit on a throne? That's not real, but there is a metaphor I needed to hear, right? So bringing it down to earth. And what's funny with you saying it is you have Neptune in Capricorn. So you have,
Two
oh,
total
she's
opposites.
this beautiful spirituality of like she's probably very disciplined about her spiritual work, but also she can bring it down to earth of like, oh, I saw it, and then how do I put the pieces and structure around it? So let me go back to this Neptunian friend I'm mentioning who beautiful vision. Okay, if it is too far fetched, what do you do with that energy? You find a good partner to help you with that who has a different energy, right? And can react as a mirror because that partner was the one that I ended up writing the children's book with. He had the idea, Stardust adventure. It was this idea of a create your own adventure, just like we create our own adventure here on Earth, but an astrological educational platform to engage children. And I was like, damn, like that is a beautiful vision. He's not a great writer, right? But he could have the talent. So I was like, damn, let me take this and run with it. I have enough stuff in my chart to do something here from knowing myself. I started to write it. So started to write it and it came out and now this vision's coming down to earth. And then as it came down to earth, he was the one that made the beautiful image on an AI, right, platform that he came up with and he created Stardust. And I was like, damn, but like then I was able to take what he created from the character and I made other images off of it. So it's like, oh, I love the Piscean Neptune people because give me that vision and then if we're good, we can paint that picture right together with some of it, and then sometimes right bring them down to earth a little bit. So for the Pisceans themselves, do not let anybody tell you to not have these visions and do
Mm.
not manifest greatness. But I think have the discipline to know you got to bring it down to earth, and people are going to think you crazy because you're a mystic, like you're mysterious. It's a beautiful thing to have.
Yes. And like you're gonna have these gifts that like you just said other people may be like whoa like what are you even talking about or you may be so different from your family your friends the people that are surrounding you but this is part of the gift that you have and that is like your intuitive ability whether it's clairsentient clairaudience whatever the clairs are that you have like lean into that and the more that you can train that muscle, the more that you can ground in and bring it down into this reality. Because that's part of it too. It's like, great, you have this ability, but now let's train it.
Exactly. And that's where I think, your stuff comes in, right? And our astrology stuff can come in, right? We can start to train it and alter it. But I think with the spiritual side, it is also then I'd lean on your coaching, right? It's kind of like that hard in between when you start to manifest and you create these vision boards. And at least for myself, sometimes I got so caught up, right? I'll meditate morning, night, sometimes multiple times a day, and I specifically started to meditate in the morning at a certain time when I
Yeah.
woke up because I studied the brain waves. And I recognized the brain waves, you can literally alter your neurological patterns with more ease at these different times of day, right? So
Mm.
it's like that's a great opportunity to take yourself deeper. And I think to it as well, with the spiritual side, and this is where I love your advice on it, it's like sometimes when I meditate, I try and have such a perfect vision, and
Mm.
it's just not. And then I really had to get disciplined of like, well, what's the feeling of what I really want? What's the root? And then however it comes out, it'll come out maybe better than that perfect fine tune. Because when I'm fine tuned, it might just pass me by. I don't know if you relate to that.
Yeah, I always, this is what I teach like the community, our clients, students, like don't expect anything when you meditate. Like just go into it knowing that it's going to fill up your cup and you're going to feel something at the end of it. Great, maybe not so great because that happens too and that's okay, right? It is what it is. But knowing that there is going to be a point where and I think we're trained by society to believe like it has to be like I just posted about this actually, like this perfect routine of like, oh, it's got to be like the perfect meditation. It has to be this long. No, like you have to optimize it. And what you just said with the brainwaves, I'm literally writing that in my upcoming book. Like I have a chapter dedicated to that because that's how important it is. And this is what I love to talk about. It's like bringing that grounded spirituality and with the combination of science. It is science and there's like these there it's like blurred line, like they're just intertwined. You can't take one away from the other. And what you just said is like, okay, how do I optimize this? And it's like train smarter, not harder kind of thing.
Mm.
And there's no like perfect way to do it. Like you have to understand you have to understand your body, you have to understand your energetic blueprint and what's going to work best for you. And the way to do that is through trial and error.
Amen. Amen. I love that. Yeah. Yeah. And then let it go. Let it lean in. And this is the perfect season, right? To bring it back to the season of Pisces now. Whether you are a sun sign Pisces, whether you have a strong Neptune, Pisces is somewhere in your chart, right? And this is where the houses can come in, right? There's 1 through 12. As Jenna was mentioning, is the zodiac sign for Pisces, the 12th. It already has its connection. So the educational astrological academy we would put out there is you've got Pisces, right, has its planetary rulers of Neptune as the modern, Jupiter as the secondary, but then every sign has a house ruler, and it is the 12th. So as if you're just learning astrology, to make it a lot simpler and enhance your abilities is find the rulership really powerful because they have the similar traits. So the 12th house does resemble a spiritual sense. It really can also resemble the unconscious mind, right? Hidden secrets, right? Because not everyone can see these images, right? So there is that cool connection from an academic standpoint we would point out. But if you're looking at a season, right, we like to leave a quest or a question or objective for our community. It's where can I go deeper in a spiritual practice, right? And
Yeah.
if you're not ever wanted to meditate because you can't do it, there's more than enough things on the holistic and performance app to get you there, get you started, and then just go a little deeper. Maybe it's journaling, right? Maybe it's a meditative nature walk. There's a way to then things that you might have been putting off to do now. Now, something there that I don't know enough about, and I don't, Jenna, I think maybe you know more, or you know of people that are more experts you've had conversations with, but the last thing I'd bring in from the caution but also value of some of the Piscean stuff is substances, right?
Mm.
So careful, but if there's, mushrooms is a massive thing that is coming up a lot to help go deeper in meditation work. Ketamine, even in the modern psych realm that I'm in, some of these communities, ketamine is a massive thing. Back when I was in college, it was the K-hole drug. It was this
My God, I
tranquilizer.
know.
Now it's healing trauma. And it's like fascinating, and I've known multiple people that have gone through it. Marijuana, I mean, hey, I went upstate New York Ithaca College. I'm aware of it, but there is a balance of it as well. But another thing, right? What might be able to take you a little deeper, but be conscious if you're going to experiment there, because the other side of Neptune or Piscean energy is, my mentor always says, it's a hell of a drug. And I'm working on a research project now on a variety of different things, but one being looking at Neptune and Piscean energy connected to hard aspects, as they say in astrology, where there's just a harder energy connectivity to another planet or a house. But there is a correlation of yet that hard aspects to Neptune can make you at more a psychological development of addiction and substance, because Neptune is a disconnect and disassociate. What do
Mm.
drugs do? What does alcohol do? Disconnect, disassociate. So there is this caution of there's value, in my opinion, again, I don't know enough, of some substances from a different type of medicine, but also being cautious of alcoholism, addiction, right? These other drugs that will lean into a real experience of Neptune, the disconnect, disassociate with too much of it, right? So those are things I would be cautious of, but also think about there's some value, and I'm sure you know more than me on some of these substance or edible things that could be leveraged at times.
That's crazy that you're bringing this up because I've spoken on a stage with someone who actually he's an anesthesiologist. I'm forgetting his name right now, but he wrote a whole book on ketamine therapy and this is what he does. So I learned a bit about it and I've had a couple of people on the come on to the podcast and talk about, like mushrooms and like microdosing and things like that. Um Personally, my perspective is intention is always number one for anything and everything you do in life. Intention, like what is your intention? Number two, where plant medicine, where are you getting this idea from? Is it somebody else telling you that you need it, or are you being intuitively guided? Hey, you need to go down this route of plant medicine to really help you work on, your trauma and things of that nature. But it's a fine line because I personally don't believe that it is necessary for somebody to go deep within to do the things that we were innately gifted with. But, there are some things that happen in people's lives where trauma does take a toll on you. And, maybe it does need to be explored with PTSD and things like that. But it is a fine line, and I think that intentionality is everything. So, really understanding and training your muscle to know where it's like, is this actually my intuition speaking to me? Or am I being influenced by somebody else because it's the cool thing to do in the spiritual realm? You know?
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I love that clarity. Because, yeah, I mean, to your point, right? If it's, I am also not a big fan of medication. I have ADHD. I got awareness of that later. I work with a lot of kids, more of a modern psych approach, who have
Yeah.
ADHD and they need the medication, but it's
Yeah.
it's it's only for a time. And I agree that spiritual beings are the power of our mind, mentality training, as we might say, from the psyche to the energy frequencies that we can vibrate out. You know, you can do it with training your mind. So I don't
Yeah.
think it's I wouldn't say a crutch, but if it's a small enhancer to something deeper for a time, right? And
Yeah.
that's where the Neptune's a hell of a drug. We don't want the need for that every single time, because then you're smoking weed before you meditate every time. And I will say, personal experience years ago, when I started to look at some of those things to go deeper, you can start to develop some really different psychological things. And one
Mm.
thing that's coming up a lot in research when it's weed and connected with meditation is this, especially nowadays where weed is gone, schizophrenia is being
Oh.
developed. And that, I understand, can so be real, and especially with meditation and Neptune. If we know law of attraction is real and you start thinking bad thoughts, then you have the belief system that you're going to manifest that instantly, and you're thinking about a car accident, or you're thinking something even scarier, right? That stuff is real of how you're training your mind. So I love what you said with intent and awareness, because there is harmony and discord, and this stuff can lead you there. But there is an outlet in the energy collective field with this season to examine, some of those things, but more importantly, the things that we've said. Your own meditation work, stuff on your own, and leaning into your spirituality is perfect for the next few weeks.
Love that. Um, so let's wrap this up with a question of the season. So let's leave the listeners with something to reflect on during this Pisces season.
Yeah, I think it is where can I be more spiritual? I'd go back to that. Where can I be more spiritual? And be honest with yourself. You might meditate 3, 5 times a day. You might be, different culture, whatever your background is, but just think about where you could go deeper in spiritual, because the gateways are open for you to go deeper, and I think it's great. And it could be as basic as making a vision board. I don't know. It's what's funny is each season when you get into this, they rhythm off each other. So your Aquarian season, you were spending a lot of time figuring out who am I, right? What is my individuality? And now we're in Pisces season. So if you did well in the Aquarian season answering that question, now you're in Pisces season, and now it's like the vision's starting to come together, and you can go deeper on things that you didn't see. Then, in about a month, we're going to jump into Aries season, and we'll have a whole nother conversation of like, learned who I was, I painted this vision, it's time to go to battle for it. So lean in now, because this is how you evolve into such power, because you're leaning into just energy, and it's a beautiful way to live spiritually, astrologically. But question of the season, where can I be more spiritual?
I love that. And perfect place to be. Holistic human performance. We have all of the spiritual and holistic practices right on our app on holistic human performance. Try it out for a week free. See if you like it. Cancel anytime. We have so many meditations, sound baths. We do live stream classes, master classes, all of these things to help you dive deeper into your practices. And not only that, be able to integrate. And if you want to go deeper with your birth natal chart, Jake does phenomenal astrology readings. If you need a little bit more coaching, we do that as well. Energy healing, sound healings. But we have so many fun things coming up. So we're gonna try to roll out this new thing. We're gonna be doing the YouTube lives through our podcast, and that way you guys can join in on the fun and you can ask questions. And I will try my best to get out like on the newsletter and announcements and things like that, so you know when we are doing the YouTube lives. Other than that, thanks so much. If you don't follow us on YouTube, head on over at Jenna Bradshaw and subscribe so you can get the notification of when we are going live and we have new videos and things like that. We also are playing around with potentially doing astrology chats on Sundays. And we are planning that out, so stay tuned. And again, like, share, subscribe, leave a review. It really helps us get our work out into the world. And we'll see you next time. Bye.